Yo, what's up, guys? Did we just fail by choosing the wrong supply level? I'm looking at this trade again and I feel like a little bit we are trapped because two things are changing in the fundamental space. When you look at the fundamental space, we get to see one thing that still the non-commercials are hedging long. The supply has been absorbing the levels, but looking at the level of consumption of the zone, it's almost 100% done. So what is left is the market to go through the level. And this is how I look at the market. If you look at this particular supply, the supplies are almost done. So this means that we get out of the trade before we hit stop loss. Maybe we took an early entry, or we just took the wrong supply. But the market will go down. All right, the market will go down. So let us go back and check in the futures what's happening, because futures are the underlying assets futures chart. And here, this is where we look at the problem. Let's look again, what are the retailers doing? In this case, we see retailers, they're still adding long positions. Right now, 26,871. Non-commercial, 78,674. Remember, previously, they were like 75K. They have added almost 3,000 long positions. Now, looking at this market, we see there's a problem somewhere. We need to sort it out and we need to get it. Look at this. Every time retailers are buying, they're getting more bullish. You know one thing, retailers getting more bullish, that one is just a sell setup in waiting. Look at that. So here, retailers going long, we get a drop. Remember, the non-commercials are the trend followers. They push the trend until it comes to an end. So look at the both markets here. When retailers are long here, we can see what has been happening on the market. And previously, already we talked about this one. This is just a small review. And looking at this market here, we can see retailers getting more bullish, fund managers again getting more bullish, and our supply probably it's not gonna work. So what do we do? Let's now check on the index, COT index, and see the smart money, what they are doing. Here, get rid of this. Second. Now, looking at the new chart right now, these are the smart money here. Smart money are pushing lower, they have added more shorts. And on the index, we can see they're going back to the extremes. And now, I'll do this just a second, go to the extremes. We can say this is the extreme. And this one is also the extreme here. Now, looking at this, we can see that the smart money here, they are touching the extremes here again. Extreme again. Now we need to get that drop happening. And you can see this is the smart money who are selling here. Now look at this index here. Again, the same thing was happening here. Smart money going bearish on the COT report. And if they were bearish on the COT report, on the index the same, and price went lower. The same thing is here. COT index showing us the extremes, and here COT report the same. So we can easily go back and be able to backtest all the way into even the previous historical levels. Like go back around, this was around, which year was this? This around, this is 2021, smart money bearish on the index. And you see at the top, the goldish line, these are the fund managers, non-commercials, and this other red line, these are just the retailers here, touching the extremes. So looking at this, we know that our fundamental picture is still clear. We're waiting for a sell. The problem is, when is the sale happening? This depends on the level that you look at. But if you go to the next step again, I see a small mistake that I did not pay attention at. And guys, trading is so funny that any small mistake, you pay with $1 on it. So which is the mistake that I made here? The next mistake is the valuation. We looked at the long-term valuation, but the short-term period valuation is not yet in place. So we look at it. Now, when it comes to the valuation, this now the dollar, which is just actually the DXY. Got it here. It's just the DXY here, as you can see. Now, on this one, we'll say we need to be undervalued. I mean, to be overvalued, but to look at this, we are not actually overvalued short term. I know long term we are overvalued, but the problem is the zone. So here still I want to be overvalued here. Unfortunately, guys, this is the problem because remember, previously we had used a longer period, which is around 28 days valuation. Around there we got overvalued and waiting for that sale. But now, that's just one thing. But short term, we have seen that we are not undervalued. We are not overvalued. We need to be overvalued. Another factor that's this one is correct. The seasonality is okay. We're getting that sale. So what I think here is the technical part is where we have failed. Now let's go back to the monthly time frame. If we go to the monthly time frame, I'm looking at and guys, I've said that non-commercials are adding long positions, and you can see even here. I want you to see from here, from this view. I want you to see what the non-commercials are doing, adding longs in this particular market here. So where is it? So second, let it load up, opened as it's opening, let's do something else. We see there's this particular demand, I mean supply here, this area, and another one here on this monthly time frame. All right, so this is level over another level here, level over another level. So if we go a little bit lower now on the weekly time frame, if we open the weekly time frame, you can see on the weekly time frame we have two areas here, and this is where the problem is. This is where the problem is, where we chose our entry, because fundamentally we are correct, but technically we are wrong. So here you can see in the weekly time frame we have this weekly supply, and this one is like, look at it, it's been tested here once, here 1, 2, and here 3, 4. So, and again now this one is in like 6 times. So here, to be honest, guys, without lying, without just being honest all the way, we're likely to take out this supply. So I'm doing away with it, to be honest, and I'm now going to focus on this extreme risk, get out of the trade earlier, save your money. Lose 1 R and recover other risk-reward ratios. I lose 1 to gain 3 or 4. So here I'm still okay. I'll say, okay, that was an early entry. When the market opens, I'm gonna cross my positions, and this way I'm looking at to enter the trade again at this extreme supply. Nothing has changed. We're just changing the positions. If you look at it, we go back to demand and supply. This is a nice one, rally-based drop. And guys, it's better we fix the problem before it becomes a problem. Now, this is a 1 week supply. Remember, we do swing trading, so we trade higher time frames. When you go to the, okay, let me show you what I wanted to say. These guys are adding long positions. Look at this. On the previous data, they had like at 1,000 was the biggest contract they had here at 1K. But look at this. From there, they have been adding. They went to 70. They started reducing 70, 65, 64. But unfortunately, in the last 2 weeks, 71, 78. We don't want to see these guys. We need a strong zone. That this zone is going to be taken out. And that's the problem that I want to solve as early as now. So if we're talking of this particular weekly supply, we can look at the 2 weeks time, 2 weeks supply. And to be honest, if we go back to a higher time frame, this is where we get what we call rally-based drop. And since we are not undervalued, guys, this is where we are heading. This is where we are heading, and probably my next sell position is going to be around this area. Let's say we're going to have it around this area. Our stop is going to be above the zone, and now we're going to make money from there. So let's go back to the trading view. So in trading view, this means that this is where we get our entry on this around this particular weekly supply. Weekly supply here. This is where we put in our trade. So we go to AUD, AUD chart. And here, guys, I'm sorry that we have to reposition ourselves again. We have to reposition ourselves again. And that's the nature of trading. You see a mistake, you fix it as early as possible. So we want to trade the weekly supply here. And personally, I have a pro firm that's almost down 3%. We need to recover the loss. So we need to position ourselves in a proper area. So this one is a weekly supply that I'm going to take without hesitation here. So this is the zone I'm marking on my chart here, as you can see that. And guys, to be honest, this is my next area of entry. So you want to pass pro farm, and guys, if you have a pro farm, honestly, if you have a pro farm challenge, bring it. DM me. I can do a pro farm challenge. I can do a pro farm. I can pass your pro farm. I can trade your pro farm account. But now you have to be patient.